rubs the lotion on its skin, or else it gets the hose again.
What is good, Battlefielders? This is your homeboy, Kuzu Ranger, coming at you from Japan. Now today I've got episode 5 of my SKS Road to 10K challenge. This has been, I'd say probably a couple months experience for me, really setting my eyes on the prize, which was getting 10,000 kills with the SKS. I have been using the weapon not since the very start of the game, but probably a month or so after the release of Battlefield 3. I had been playing with this gun quite a lot, not every single game mind you, but it was my preferred weapon for a while. And then I kind of took a break from just gaming in general. I had my third baby, and what else did I do? I was playing some Call of Duty, unfortunately, for a month or two, which got me off track of Battlefield, but I did come back, and I came back with a vengeance. Then once I realized, this is coming down to the end of this game, not as many people are playing it, I wanted to set a goal for myself. And so I'm going to talk about goals again in this video, so I hope you don't mind. So not only does it help to improve my motivation to continue playing this game, it also helps push me to improve my gameplay. The thing is, every player can really benefit from setting goals. For me, there are a few important reasons for doing this. One of the most obvious is that you get continued replay out of a game that you just play day in and day out. If you just play casually, then that's fine and this probably doesn't apply to you. But for those of us who play every day, nearly 18 months after its release, it helps having a purpose, something else to focus on. Some people may try to do all the challenges. Some try to evenly distribute weapon usage. Some may try to get the most kills with whatever weapon or vehicle. For me, I've tried to get at least 100 kills with most of the main weapons. Now mind you, that is not all. I haven't gone for the dog tag, but I do enjoy using a whole bunch of variety of weapons, not just the SKS, even though I have a vast majority with this weapon. I do like playing with different weapons. I also try to use assault rifles fairly even. In fact, I've set a new goal of getting a certain set of weapons into my top 5 most used. So after weeks of really trying it, my top 5 weapons are now the SKS, AK-74, L85, the assault rifle, M416, and the M417. I'm quite proud of this list because it includes 2 semi-auto sniper rifles, one being the M417, which suffers from the worst suppression effects in the game. Yes, that is a stat. You can look it up, you can prove it. When taking fire, your shots go wildly off target, so this gun was a huge challenge for me because obviously taking fire is part of the game, so when you take fire, you're not going to kill as efficiently with that weapon. Additionally, I have 2 assault rifles that fire at 600 rounds per minute, nearly the slowest rate in the assault rifle class. Now these weapons, the top 5, they tell a lot about what type of player you are overall. Mine say that I do not follow the norm, I don't do what everyone else does. I can care less about what are the most popular guns, in fact I hate that shit. Now I'm a patient to mid-long range roaming player, and that's what you can tell from my weapons because they are not the fastest firing in the game. Definitely by far. And this is no offense to anyone, but I'm proud that my guns are not the M16, the F2000, the FAMAS, the MP7, etc. Why don't you go ahead and tell me what your top 5 are? Another method that helped me was to challenge myself skill-wise. Ever since my first PS3 game, I told myself I have to get better. So setting goals has really helped me. I was less than mediocre at Resistance Fall of Man. I don't know if you remember that game. I would just run around aimlessly and not think about anything. I was a noob, plain and simple. I didn't have any idea about good tactics. I didn't try to stay safe, and I had no patience. Then thanks in big part to playing with Red Hamu, SLA, another American in Japan, I realized how terrible a player I was. Thanks a lot, asshole. No, in truth, I owe him a great deal. He was and still is my gaming role model, if you will. He consistently beasts in any game he touches, and although I'll never reach his level, I vow to at least emulate a part of his greatness. And when you play with someone better than you can do your best to have that person kind of rub off their skill level or their techniques onto you, but you can only do it if you make an effort. Observe what they do. Watch their tactics. What choices did they make? How are they playing? Take a mental note of what they are doing right and what you are doing wrong. Whereas my buddy can dominate because of his superior raw skill, great aiming, reflexes, and overall gaming sense, I have to play differently if I want to succeed. Over the years, I've gradually found success, finally, by avoiding my weaknesses, including being reckless and engaging enemies up close. I have to slow myself down. I have to play more calculated and trying to find ways to gain the advantage with better cover, a better angle, or better understanding of the overall game. It's actually rather embarrassing to admit that it took me such a long time to improve. It wasn't a simple task either. I vowed to improve my gaming skills all the way back in 2007 or so when I was playing with him, and it wasn't until about 2012 that I finally hit my peak, or I hope so. But if there's one thing Kuzu Ranger does well, it's perseverance. Why am I talking about myself in the third person? I don't know. No, but I'm a fighter. My progress may be incredibly slow, but I have the heart of a lion. I make things happen, one baby lion cub step at a time. So setting goals for myself is very important. It helps having secondary reasons for playing other than just, I like games. Maybe I see it like playing an RPG. Sure, most people play those for the story, to play with different characters and explore fantastic worlds. But there are also those of us who play for the progression, for the physical act of trying to level up your character. Yes, I'm a stat man. I'm the type of person who tries to get my character to the highest level possible, get the best weapons, and explore every dungeon in that world. And I bring that mentality with me into FPS games. To me, trying to improve your KD is just like trying to level up your RPG character. Now, not everyone is going to agree with that or even enjoy it. You play for the stats, dude? No, I do not play for the stats, but I do use stats as a tool for motivation. I play for the pure love of gaming, but part of FPS gaming to me is kind of like sports. There's competition and there are scores as well. If there were no multiplayer, there would be no competition, no way to evaluate yourself, no driving force to bring out the adrenaline in you. So stats and scores have meaning. When playing, I take a mental note of my performance every game. If I play poorly, I make sure to improve next game. If you don't care about stats at all, it will probably show up in your results. Like anything in life, if you don't set out to improve your situation, you likely won't succeed. The same thing applies to gaming. If you want to get better, you have to review your playing style. Make note of what needs changing, set a goal, and stick with the plan. For starters, I recommend trying to set an achievable KD goal. That's kill-death ratio. For several game titles, I seem to be stuck at a 1.5 KD level. But I told myself I don't have to be stuck at this level. I know I can get a 2.0 if I just play smarter. So I pushed myself. I started watching better players. I watched kill cams. I watched YouTube videos. I examined weapon stats. I evaluated why I was playing so mediocre and figured out what I could do to change that. Instead of being sucked in by what other players were doing around me, like running around all the time, I made other players adjust to my tactics. I started firing from mid-range instead of from up close. I started getting better cover. I started to play more patient, and I saw results. Fast forward to Battlefield 3, and I have achieved something I never thought possible. I'm now sitting on a 2.45 KD after putting more than 500 hours into this game. I was at one point over 2.5, but a series of unfortunate events brought me back down. I was training for Squad Rush, I was playing on new maps, and I was just playing more careless and aggressive. Regardless, I set out to improve my game, and I have done that. There's no doubt that the maps and pacing of Battlefield 3 have helped me out. I just feel so much more suited toward the Battlefield franchise. There's more room to maneuver, more places to take cover, sandbox style maps and larger playing fields, and I just like the teammanship, the squad play, everyone helping out each other, and the less than, let's say, selfish mentality that doesn't happen here as opposed to other popular games. Yes, I am talking about Call of Duty. I have nothing against Call of Duty. In fact, I enjoyed playing them immensely. At the time I was playing them, but I just realized I can't go back to that anymore. It doesn't bring me as much joy. I can't play solo like I used to anymore. I need to play as a team, and if I'm not playing with the team, then I at least need to contribute to my team and do what I can to help get the win. And I actually care about winning in Battlefield 3 my win-loss ratio is just about even with my KD, so I have a 2.45 or so, which I'm incredibly happy with. In Call of Duty, I could care less about winning. I would go out of my way just to kill people. I would go flank. I would go all across the map just to get kills and leave my objective, if it were a domination game, and leave my flags open, whatever it would be. I was out for myself. And in Battlefield 3, I do not play like that. There's a small part of me that will do that, but for the most part, what I'm doing is to help the team. If I do play selfish, well, it does happen, but for the most part, I'm doing it for my team. Also, what's great about Battlefield 3 is that this is not just a run and gun game. Sure, many players can go around with rapid fire weapons, find the best flank routes, and spray up close and do very well, but not everyone wants to do that. Now, I'm one of those people. I personally get more satisfaction taking out dudes from long distance with well-placed pot shots. Pop, 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 pop. I'm incredibly thankful to DICE for the map designs and actually allowing us to play as we like. No one's forcing me to pick the same guns everyone else uses just to compete. I don't succumb to peer pressure easily. In fact, I tend to do the opposite. I want to prove I can use non-ideal weapons like semi-autos or slow-firing assault rifles and still succeed. That, to me, is a true testament of skill. What I think is pretty cool about the SKS and my challenge is that I have been using it from pretty early on in the game, but I haven't been using it predominantly. It isn't the only weapon I use, and I didn't use it at the very start after release of this game. So, I mean, the first thing I did in Battlefield 3 was to snipe from super long distance. I just wanted to take, the laid-back approach, look at the beautiful maps, slow things down, and just enjoy tactical sniping. But that requires a huge amount of patience. I put in hours with the M98 and really enjoyed it, but also missed getting into the action. And then soon after, I'd say about a month or so later, I found the SKS, which was just the perfect solution for me. I started using it just as it was meant to be used. I can play aggressively and help take out the objective, pushing up, getting up in people's face, or I can play conservatively, take a nice defensive stand, take a defensive mindset, and just kind of pop people off from a distance. It was just, this gun just helped shape me into exactly the player I always wanted to be, and I am now, by my own definition, an accomplished and lethal designated marksman. So I actually found some stats that I kept track of. In the first week of January, this is January 2012, I had less than 100 kills with the SKS. So that was obviously before I started using it. Then the 2 weeks following that, I had up to 1,000 kills. And then by the first week of March, so that's 2 months later, I had 3,000 kills. So that's a good 1,000 kill per month ratio, which is pretty damn good. Considering, I was playing a lot, but it wasn't the only weapon I was using. And then by the first week of April, I had almost 5,000 kills, so I was on a good pace there, doing really well, except that around June or July, that's when I started taking a break. I was preparing for a squad rush tournament that was hosted by Battlefieldo, as well as some sponsors with prizes from some major gaming companies. So I was trying to get in shape for that. Squad rush was kind of a new mode for me. It's a 4-on-4. If you've never played it, it's 4-on-4, just like Rush, but there's less. It's a less MCOMs, and there's obviously smaller map size and smaller amount of players. So I really, it was really challenged to get into that, and you can't really use an SKS for that competitively. You need something that fires fast. You need, I'd say, assault rifle is basically king in most situations because it does everything well. It does up close, and it does medium range, and it does decently in far range. So, assault rifles are what you need to go with when you want to play kind of competitively. And I did try and use the SKS in that tournament a little bit, and it didn't turn out very well. I don't know if it was lag, whatever, but it just didn't turn out things didn't turn out in my favor, and I was a little disappointed with that. So there was a break there with the SKS as well. You know, like I said, I excuse me, I started playing Call of Duty a little bit. That was stupid. And then we flash forward up to December. This is really when I took notice. You know, I was getting kind of close. I think I had just under 8,500 kills with the SKS. And at that point, that's when I said, hey, I want to make, you know, a definitive challenge for myself. I want to make sure that I get to 10,000, and I want to put in some hours. I want to put in a lot of focus, and I want to make sure I get that. And that's the point when I said I'm going to do it. And I think that's when I also started with the series here. So in December, I started getting really close, and I thought I could do it. But at the same time, that's also when I had my third kid. So I really couldn't put in hours. I could only play like maybe once a week. And now things are better, so I can play a couple times a week, 3 times a week maybe, if I'm not too tired. But I am really fucking tired, so maybe not. And the point is now that I have officially passed and reached 10,000 kills with the SKS. It has been a very fun ride. At no point did it feel like it was a chore, it was boring. I love the gun. I still love the gun. I have used it a little less frequently because I'm trying to use some of the other guns, like I said, but I will always love the SKS. It is one of my favorite guns of all time, and I'm really looking forward to what guns they have in Battlefield 4. Anyways, guys, thanks for listening. Thanks for your support. This has been Kuzu Ranger. Boo.